It's fall, and that means it's time to save and store our seeds from the plants that we've loved this year so that we can grow those plants again next spring. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. So one thing that can really cut your costs and actually bring a lot more joy to your gardening, as I like to call it, is to let some of your flowers go to seed so that you can select those seeds and keep them and store them and possibly grow those plants again next spring. So let me show you kind of what I've been collecting as far as different flowers I plan to collect from, and maybe that will give you some ideas of how you can use this method in your garden. So let's talk about the flowers I've been collecting so far. These are zinnias, and you can see if you pull back the little flowers, there's tiny little seeds in here, and I don't want to do too much here because I'll need to do it over a plate so that I can collect all those. But you can see I've let these go all the way until the flower was almost ready to start dropping seeds on its own. So that's one of the things about collecting seeds from your crops is you really have to just let those seeds develop before you harvest. So here are some more, these are scabiosa seeds that I just, when I clipped them, I just put them there. I haven't processed them. One thing about scabiosa seeds is they're very, very prickly. So definitely want to do that with gloves on. You can also use them just as a dried flower. They're really pretty. These are some bluebell seeds that I have, or what's called campanula. And I'll try to show you again, they're kind of prickly, so I want to do it with gloves on. But when you get into these little seed pods here, you'll be able to find the seeds. Here's some gomphrena, which are the tiniest little seeds here. So I'm going to be collecting those. Let's see, over here I have some more gomphrena. It's the same, it's like a purple gomphrena. So right in there in the bottom, you can kind of see if I can grab one out. You can kind of see the seeds there. So that's what they look like. So they look like they're like linear. And then over here, just a few more zinnia seeds. Let's see if you can see this one any better to kind of get down. So there they are. So there's the seeds there. And let's see, that's about all I have over here. I have harvested my lavender and dried it. Now, I don't usually collect seeds from lavender. I usually would do lavender from a cutting, but you definitely can. So I'm going to go ahead and experiment with this today. The one thing about lavender is if you cut it for like a floral arrangement, a dried arrangement, you want to cut it sooner than I cut this one, so you still are left with more color. This one I kept on the plant up until this color basically looked like this. It was very, very faded, so that I could potentially get some seed from this. The next one I have over here is these are from a bulb. This is an amaryllis. I'm sorry, not an amaryllis. So this big vase here is filled with dried alliums. And so if you look closely, you can see all the little black seeds. So these are from the onion family. And in the spring, they bloom beautiful purple. I actually have a video, I'll try to find it, of me harvesting these. But I love the form of them, and you can use them for all different things. I will show you the easiest way to get all of these black seeds out so you can just enjoy the dried seed heads after you do that part. Over here I have some hydrangea. So this is just to show you the difference. This is hydrangea that I harvested last year. So you can see it has a really pretty blonde kind of brown color, but these are ones I just harvested. And now I'm going to let them dry. So what I'm going to actually do is I have them in a little bit of water. And then these are the daylilies. So if you look closely, if you leave these on the daylily, they will eventually produce these little dried seed heads. Now I cut some of these a little too soon because they're green, but here you can start to see, in fact, I have more in here. Here, I'll show you. You can see the little black seeds. See if I can get a good, okay, that one's not going to show me much. So let me see if I can find a different one. So they're in here, but I also wanted to use some of these just for like a dried arrangement. So here, hold on. Okay, so here's a better view of those. So they're really pretty if you let them dry all the way. And in the bottom there, all those black shiny, that's the seed. So you can, you know, grow daylilies from seed. Now these are going to take a few years to get established, but and I also, like I said, I cut some of them green just because I like the way the pods look when they're closed. But if you like the more open look, you just leave them on the plant and they will dry that way, and they can look really pretty in dried arrangements too. So here's a good example of a plant that I could easily deadhead this plant, but I would like to have more of these. These are Lisianthus, I believe, and I didn't have a tremendous amount of luck with them this year, but I did get a few blooms. And if I leave this be to dry, I think that I'll be able to get some seed off this particular plant as well. So those are kind of the things to look for. You can also do cosmos, are really easy. These are a few cosmos that are left that are really easy to collect seed from as well. All right, so I wanted to show you this. I was able to grab this off Amazon, and I used it for another purpose. You can see it's designed to be used for like spices, but they do come with some labels that you can fill in. So I've just been using a paint pen, a Posca paint pen, and I first started using these for some of my dried flowers, but this is how they come in these little jars. So you can see I've labeled the seeds that I have, and so now it's just a matter of collecting them and getting them into these little jars. Now you could also do, so here's some of the dried flowers I've done in the past. You can also do envelopes that might be a little bit more, you know, easier to store. Here's some yellow. Aren't those gorgeous? I'm going to be doing a craft with these soon, so stay tuned. But I've collected some, I've got so many names of flowers in my head. Some pansies and violas that I dried earlier. I have a microwave flower dryer, and it is great. It's called the Microfloor, and that is what I've been using. And I've been doing, I guess that's all I have. I've been doing a bunch of leaves as well. So anyway, those are some that I have in there. But these ones I'm going to use for my new seeds. So here I've got one for my zinnias, and I have a few left. So anyway, it's a nice kit. It also comes with these little shakers if you were doing herbs. And honestly, that's what I originally bought it for, but I didn't end up drying as many herbs as I thought I was going to. But I still have some, so I might process those as well. And then this little funnel, which is really cute. So it's a really nice set. And again, I'll try to find the exact one for you. And oh, it did come with a pen. So I forgot it came with a pen too. So that's nice. It's a good set. All right, guys, it's actually a little bit later in the evening and it's cooled down in my greenhouse finally. So I'm going to go ahead and start processing some of these things I've been collecting for a while. I'm going to start with the lavender. Sorry about barking dogs as usual. And I'm just going to go ahead and shake all of the little blooms off. And if nothing else, I can use them in like a sachet or something, but they're pretty much just falling off at this point. So I'm going to start by just, I've got them in a bucket here, and I'm just going to like shake them and get all of these little blooms off of here. And they smell really, really good. So I want to keep them. I could use them in like soap making. I could make it like an oil from them. I'm not sure, but I want to hang on to those parts, but then I can ditch the rest of the lavender. So I'm going to start there. Grab my gloves and here we go. So, I mean, if, like I said, if I would have cut these a little earlier in the season, they would have more of a brilliant purple color. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell this. It's just, it smells so amazing. But I can also use them. I can use the lavender this way. I believe this is a French lavender. Whichever one it is, it actually is one of the ones that perennialized in my front. Like it survived the winter and it did really good. So, I would like to maybe do some cuttings of it, and we'll see, but it's a good one. Okay, so here's what the stalks look like after, you know, getting all of kind of the good stuff off of there. So I'm just going to keep working on this until I get it all taken care of, and then I'll show you the next one that I'm going to do. Here's what I was left with for the lavender. So hopefully you can kind of see that. I'm going to have to go through and get, you know, all the little sticks out of here. But again, I wish you guys could smell it. It smells so good. So I've been growing lavender for quite a while. This is a pretty good little harvest. So I can, like I said, I can tie it in some sachets, put it in my linen closet. There's like a million things you could do with it. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to start working on the zinnias next, because I think I have sort of the most of them. So when you're doing this process, look for, you know, any kind of jar will work, or bucket, something that obviously doesn't have a hole in the bottom. So mason jars work really well. Like I said, I'm trying these little kind of baby mason jars. So hopefully that will work really well. But I'm also working on this little mat. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more room here. So I've got this little mat that I'm working on. So this makes life pretty easy too. Like that's all some more lavender. So I can ditch that and then move on to the next thing. So this is what the zinnias look like. And I'm going to break apart the top part, and I'm going to do that on the mat, and then try to separate out the actual seed from kind of the little petal part if they will drop. So hopefully you guys can see this. Oh, I know you probably can't, but it looks like a little arrow. Hopefully my camera will like zoom in on that. But so the little black part is the seed, and then this part is just the dried petals. So I'm looking for those little black arrows and kind of separating everything out. So I'm just going to do that here on the mat. I'm kind of just hanging out in the greenhouse listening to some music, and I could also sit down and do this at the kitchen table. This is a great activity to do with kids too. Keeps their hands busy. Anyway, I'm going to get going on this. It's really satisfying, actually. Ooh, cool. Also, just one more thing. Let's take a look at what it looks like when it's all done. It's actually a really pretty, could be used in, you know, a dried flower arrangement. So like I said, I've been collecting some dried flowers, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll come up with something. All right, next up is going to be the alliums. So I think I showed this, but they're these little black seeds. And so the easiest way I found to do this is I have this little bucket, and I'm just going to stick the top in here, and I'm just gonna flip it around. And I probably won't get all of them, but I am like touching the sides. So I'm kind of like scraping them away. And that seems to work pretty good. Like I'm never going to need this many seeds, but I want to use these in a dried arrangement, and I don't really want all the seeds like just falling all over my table and stuff. So I want to try to get as many out for seeds, but also for using them as dried flowers. So also, you know, even if you have extra seeds, it can be really fun to leave packets of seeds at your local library. Sometimes they will have like a seed exchange, you know, library cabinet thing at your local library, or you could, you know, make them into Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. You could, you know, calligraphy a really pretty envelope or something with the name of the seed that it is, and they make really sweet gifts. Maybe include a photograph of the flower, you know, on the outside, or put them in a card. They're small and easily mailable. So seeds also make nice gifts for friends and neighbors and other gardeners. So don't be afraid to over collect, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, so I'm just going to keep going on the little allium seeds. So these ones are next, and I'm pretty sure that this is a, oh, I don't know. I should have maybe labeled things. I think they're a Gomphrena. I could be wrong. I don't know. Here. I know it will like come to me, but when I collected them, I should have labeled things. So now you know. Oh, you know what these are? I think these are are they Cosmos? They're either Cosmos or they are Gomphrena, but I think they're Cosmos. I think they're Cosmos. Don't quote me on that. So again, these are just so hard to like separate. So I'm just going to get as much as I can off there, and then I'll probably pick out like the little spent seed heads or whatever. But I'm not going to try to separate like the seed from the dried petals. And honestly, I don't mind the way that that looks. I think it looks kind of pretty, but I am going to get like these bigger chunks out of here. So I don't know if you guys can even see this, but let me just say this whole seed sorting thing is actually really fun and kind of fun to like break your plants apart and like see how they're made on the inside. And I don't know, it'd be fun to experiment next year. I mean, it'd be cool if they would grow. If nothing else, they look pretty in the little jars, but I think hopefully I'll have a little bit of luck here. So I'm going to kind of get some of those big chunks out of there. And yeah, I can see the seeds, and I think these might be Cosmos seeds because I remember Cosmos seeds look kind of like this. So that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. And I remember collecting some Cosmos, so I'm pretty sure that's what these are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these in a jar after I clean them up just a little bit more. All right, next I'm going to move on to the daylilies. These are the ones I showed you with the black shiny seeds. And I'm not going to have as many of these. I just have a feeling there's only like 3 to 4 seeds per little pod here. And once, like I said, once the pods are empty, you can just keep them or use them. But I'm just going to go through these. I might be able to fit what I get out of these into one of those little vials. I'm pretty sure I can. So I'm going to go ahead and process these seeds. And I'm honestly not sure how long it takes for daylilies to, mature and all that. So maybe I'll have to give some daylilies a try. Pretty cool to see how one plant can produce, so many different seeds. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more plants. Ooh, that was a good one. Let's see how they come out. They're so shiny. They just look like little pebbles. They're so cute. Oops, and I'm dropping them. Okay. And there's a good visual. See them in there? You're coming with me, little seeds. They're so cute, though. Okay. All right. So not as many bulk-wise of these, but I'm going to well, I kind of want to use one of those little vials. Where'd those little vials go? I really don't have very many. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this by hand. And again, this might be a fun activity to do with kids or like at the dining room table and great thing to do if you can keep them dry. You know, you could always do this when it's cold and yucky outside later on in the season when you just want a little bit of time with plants, but maybe the weather's not cooperating. I'm gonna have to make a different label for this guy. Yeah, these are so pretty seeds. I think this will work out really well. Okay. And down in there, I've got a couple more here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so those are done. A little vial. So cute. All right, moving on to the next. So next up we have the bellflower seeds. And these ones are kind of a trip because they look like this. They have these little like pods, but if you start to break open these little pods, like thousands of tiny little, I mean, they're so small. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of eliminate, trying to find one if I can show you where all the seeds are. They're just really hard to see, but I'm going to kind of just get to, see if I can kind of show you. So I'm going to kind of break it until it gets to this spot here. And I'm not going to break it open any further than that until I'm ready to actually sew them. So I'm just going to get them to that point, and then I'm going to put them in the little jar. I'm going to see if I can actually show you what they look like when you split them. So I don't know if my camera will pick that up here. See that? Can you guys see that? Those are the seeds. Look how tiny those are. So I don't even bother with like taking them out of this little like built-in container, I guess. But I am gonna like get rid of some of this extra stuff and just get down to the, I guess we could call it like the little seed head, okay? And then I'm just gonna put them in there like that. So, and these ones are kind of pokey, so I'm gonna put my gloves back on because I get itchy pretty quickly with stuff like this. So I'm gonna keep working on the campanula or the bluebells. And I was actually lucky to find these because I was deadheading some stuff and I had not realized some of them were still kind of hiding underneath the plant. Otherwise, I didn't save very many. I guess I should say, I didn't intentionally save these. It was an afterthought where I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure these dried on the vine. And that's kind of the trick with any of this stuff, you guys, is like, it needs to kind of dry on the vine if possible. So fall is the perfect time to like maybe knock it off with the deadheading, you know, maybe stop the deadheading quite so vigorously and just see how things develop. It's really fun. It's, you know, science. You can get your kids involved or, you know, family, and it's just interesting. So again, I'm just kind of removing till I get to this little, it looks like a little fairy hat. Okay, and then I'm just keeping that part. And I don't have a lot of these to do, but just a few. So finish these up. All right, the last ones I'm going to do tonight are, this is a scabiosa, and it was the Black Knight variety, and these are so prickly that yeah, they're kind of hard to deal with. But if you do let them dry on the vine, you can start to just get them to that place. When I seed these, I definitely wear gloves because I didn't one year, and they have these little, like, almost like little barbs on them. So anyway, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And then this is my little batch here of what I snagged. So I'm just gonna pick the tops off and I could use all of them or not all of them if I wanted to use these in a floral, like a dried floral arrangement. But honestly, these ones are so prickly in a dried floral arrangement that I don't know how much I'm going to want to use them in that sort of application. So I think I'm just going to, do at least some seeds from them and see if I can get them to go next year. And then these ones are these are Gomphrena, and these are proven winners, and I'm not entirely sure if they are sterile. So sometimes, some plants are not bred to reseed. So I'm just going to dump these out. And then they also got damp. So here is, yeah, see, word to the wise. I got a little water in there, and now it's pretty molded. So I think I'm going to pass on these, and I don't know. Honestly, like if I want more next year, I will just buy them. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I don't think they're any good. So make sure if you are collecting, make sure it's something with ventilation or with drainage in the bottom or something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up these. And I think that might be it for tonight. I'll have to look around and see if I am missing anything. All right, guys, let me take you through what I was able to harvest tonight. I've got my Bluebell Campanula. I've got some Cosmos, some Dark Night Scabiosa, lots of zinnias. Zinnias for days. Many, many, many zinnias. In fact, those aren't even all the zinnias, you guys. I think I need a bigger mason jar for the zinnias. I don't think, I know. And then the alliums. And then I had the one vial of the daylilies. And that is it for tonight. I didn't do, I didn't use this daylily, because I used the little vial. And then I did not harvest the purple Gomphrena because it kind of was molded. So I'm going to change out the labels. So two empty jars still. The rest of my jars are filled with my beautiful dried flowers. So stay tuned for my videos because I'm going to be doing a craft with these coming up. And it's turned out so cute. I just worked on it today. So you don't want to miss that. But feeling pretty good about my seed harvest. And yeah, looking forward to planting next spring. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for tonight's video. Thanks for checking this out. I hope that it encouraged you to maybe look at your plants a little differently this fall and maybe experiment with just letting those flowers die on the vine and see what kind of seeds you can collect. Of course, there's a whole tons more seeds you could collect from veggies as well, but this is my collection so far, and I hope that you got some ideas for what kind of seeds you could collect from your yard. Thanks for hanging out in my yard with me tonight or in my greenhouse and doing some seed collecting with me. I hope that you learned something, that it gave you some ideas. And if you need me, I'll be hanging out in my yard. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.